The summary of Quiet, brought to you by Click-Through College. In the book's introduction, Susan Cain presents a compelling case for the significance of introverts in a society that tends to undervalue them. She seeks to broaden the reader's understanding of introversion and extroversion, asserting that these traits are not mere preferences for solitude or company, but core aspects of our identities which deeply influence our choices and behaviors. Cain sets forth her aim to challenge the societal bias that favors extroversion, the extrovert ideal, and to celebrate the unique strengths of introverts. She shares personal experiences as an introvert, and her journey to understanding and accepting her own nature, setting the stage for a broader exploration of the power of introversion. Chapter 1: The Rise of the Mighty Likeable Fellow. In the inaugural chapter of Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking, Susan Cain introduces the reader to the concept of the extrovert ideal, the idea that outgoing, gregarious individuals are to be preferred and valued more highly in society. She paints a vivid picture of the historical shift from the culture of character to the culture of personality, thus, attributing it to the transition from an agricultural society, where individuals were mostly known by close-knit communities, to an industrial society where, suddenly, people had to prove themselves in a crowd of strangers. Cain argues that this transition created a new societal emphasis on how one is perceived by others, leading to the rise of the culture of personality, where attributes such as charisma, charm, and the ability to influence others became paramount. This transformation, Cain suggests, cemented the bias towards extroversion in Western culture. The chapter unfolds with a rich tapestry of historical context, personal anecdotes, and research findings to solidify her argument. She delves into the self-help movement and its role in popularizing this extroverted ideal, pointing to the rise of self-help books and guides that often focus on teaching individuals how to be more outgoing, sociable, and persuasive. Cain challenges the reader to question the pervasive belief that being extroverted is inherently superior and sets the stage for a deeper exploration of introversion and its strengths. Chapter 2: The Myth of Charismatic Leadership. Cain takes the reader on a journey through the world of leadership, arguing against the ingrained stereotype that effective leaders are necessarily charismatic and extroverted. She presents a detailed analysis of leadership traits and styles, challenging the notion that charisma, dominance, and outgoing personality traits are essential for effective leadership. Cain presents academic research demonstrating that introverted leaders can be just as effective, if not more so, in certain situations. These situations often involve proactive teams where the careful, reflective nature of an introverted leader can shine. An introverted leader, she posits, is more likely to listen carefully to their team members' ideas and suggestions, foster a collaborative environment, and lead in a thoughtful and calculated manner. Throughout the chapter, Cain interweaves case studies and real-life examples, including the experiences of influential introverted leaders who have achieved remarkable success in their fields. By debunking the myth of charismatic leadership, she underscores the importance of acknowledging and leveraging diverse leadership styles. Chapter 3: When Collaboration Kills Creativity. Cain tackles the trend of new groupthink, the notion that constant collaboration and teamwork are paramount for creativity and productivity. She argues that while collaboration has its merits, an overemphasis on group work can often stifle individual creativity and deep thought. Cain suggests that solitude and quiet reflection, often more comfortable and sought after by introverts, can be potent catalysts for creativity and innovation. She supports her argument with evidence from research and examples from history, pointing to several breakthrough ideas and inventions that were born of solitary contemplation. Furthermore, Cain explores the shift in work environments, such as the rise of open-plan offices, that favor continuous collaboration and often fail to provide spaces for individual thought. She urges educators, managers, and policymakers to consider a balanced approach, fostering environments that respect both teamwork and individual contemplation. This, she argues, can create more inclusive, productive environments that value the strengths of both extroverts and introverts. Chapter 4 is Temperament Destiny? Nature, Nurture, and the Orchid Hypothesis. Susan Cain turns her attention to the origin of temperament, investigating the age-old debate of nature versus nurture. Are we born with a predilection towards introversion or extroversion, or is it the product of our environment and experiences? Cain presents scientific evidence supporting the role of biological factors in determining our temperaments, such as the reactivity of our nervous system. She introduces the concept of high reactive and low reactive individuals, with the former being more likely to become introverts, often displaying sensitivity and responsiveness to their environment from early childhood. This leads to the introduction of the orchid hypothesis, suggesting that high reactive individuals, often introverts, are like orchids. They can wilt under harsh conditions, but under the right circumstances, they can flourish and outperform those who are typically more resilient. Cain provides a wealth of research and real-life examples, emphasizing that our innate temperaments can significantly impact our behavior, decisions, and experiences. However, she also recognizes the influence of nurture, highlighting that understanding one's temperament can guide how we interact with the world, helping us choose environments where we can thrive. Chapter 5 Beyond Temperament: The Role of Free Will, and the Secret of Public Speaking for Introverts. Chapter 5 delves deeper into the complexities of introversion and extroversion, discussing the concept of free trait theory. This theory posits that, despite our natural tendencies, we have the ability to act out of character for the sake of core personal projects, which are integral to our sense of identity. Cain uses public speaking as an example, a task often dreaded by introverts. Yet, she explains, if an introvert is passionate about their message, they can find the strength to overcome their natural reticence and deliver a powerful speech. Cain herself, as an introverted author and speaker, provides personal insights into this experience. She carefully balances this discussion, however, with the cautionary message that continually acting against our innate tendencies can lead to stress, burnout, and a sense of disconnection from ourselves. She advocates for a middle ground, respecting and honoring our natural inclinations, while also pushing ourselves when our passion drives us to do so. Chapter 6: Franklin was a politician, but Eleanor spoke out of conscience. Why cool is overrated. Cain makes a compelling case against the overvaluation of cool, a trait often associated with extroversion. She juxtaposes the personalities of Franklin Roosevelt and his wife Eleanor, arguing that while Franklin was charismatic and politically savvy, Eleanor, an introvert, had a profound influence through her moral conviction and empathy. Cain provides a nuanced analysis of the societal preference for cool, suggesting that it is not only about charisma and outward charm but also about detachment and self-presentation. She argues that the world needs more Eleanors, individuals who speak out of deep conviction, and not just to please others or maintain a certain image. This chapter further reinforces Cain's central argument. The quiet power of introverts, their deep sense of empathy and their unwavering commitment to their beliefs, holds immense value in our society. It is a call to recognize and appreciate the diverse ways in which people influence and contribute to the world around them. Chapter 7 Why did Wall Street crash and Warren Buffett prosper? How introverts and extroverts think, and process dopamine, differently. Susan Cain delves into the psychological and neurological differences between introverts and extroverts. This chapter looks at how these differences may influence decision-making, risk-taking behaviors, and responses to reward stimuli. Cain uses the Wall Street crash of 2008 as a case study, suggesting that the risky behavior that contributed to the financial meltdown can be linked to extroverted traits such as reward sensitivity and impulsivity. In contrast, she highlights the case of Warren Buffett, an introverted investor known for his thoughtful, risk-averse investment strategy. She supports her arguments with research on dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with the brain's reward system. Cain explains that extroverts and introverts process dopamine differently, leading to distinct responses to reward and risk. Extroverts, with their higher dopamine reactivity, are often drawn to novelty and quick rewards, whereas introverts are more stimulated by acetylcholine, another neurotransmitter associated with pleasure derived from more reflective and introspective activities. Chapter 8 Soft Power: Asian Americans and the Extrovert Ideal. Cain addresses cultural variations in the appreciation of introversion and extroversion, focusing particularly on the experience of Asian Americans. This chapter explores the tension that can arise when traditional Asian values, which often esteem quiet strength and introspection, clash with the Western, extrovert ideal. Cain discusses the potential challenges for Asian Americans and other immigrant groups who navigate two contrasting sets of cultural expectations, those of their ancestral culture and those of American society. She provides poignant personal stories and research findings to underscore her points. The chapter ultimately emphasizes the harm of enforcing a single cultural ideal on diverse cultures and individuals, underscoring the need for a greater appreciation of temperament diversity both within and across cultures. Chapter 9: When should you act more extroverted than you really are? Chapter 9 revisits the idea of free trait theory, first introduced in Chapter 5, probing more deeply into the circumstances where it might be beneficial for introverts to act more extroverted. This chapter navigates the complex balance between honoring one's inherent nature and adapting to the requirements of specific situations. Cain discusses how introverts can stretch themselves to act more extroverted for something they are passionate about or deem essential. She shares examples from a variety of domains, such as academia, business, and personal relationships, where introverts have successfully stepped out of their comfort zone. However, Cain also emphasizes the importance of self-care, cautioning introverts against constant or extreme stretching, which can lead to exhaustion and burnout. She offers practical strategies to manage such situations, such as finding restorative niches, places or times for introverts to return to their true selves, recharge, and regain energy. Chapter 10: The Communication Gap. How to talk to members of the opposite type. Cain addresses the often overlooked but essential topic of communication between introverts and extroverts. She discusses the potential miscommunication and misunderstandings that can arise from differing preferences and styles, given that these two types often have disparate ways of processing information and expressing themselves. Cain argues that by understanding and acknowledging these differences, both introverts and extroverts can foster more effective, empathetic communication in various contexts, including personal relationships, workplaces, and educational environments. She shares concrete strategies and advice to bridge this communication gap, including adjusting the environment to suit different comfort levels, learning to appreciate the different strengths that both types bring to a conversation, and compromising to accommodate each other's needs. The chapter offers rich insights into how a better understanding of temperament can enhance interpersonal understanding and interaction, urging readers to value diversity and adaptability in communication. Chapter 11: On Cobblers and Generals. How to cultivate quiet kids in a world that can't hear them. Chapter 11 is a thoughtful exploration of how introversion and extroversion manifest in childhood. Cain discusses the unique challenges faced by introverted children in an education system and society that often rewards extroverted behaviors. She talks about the importance of recognizing and nurturing children's innate temperaments, encouraging parents, educators, and mentors to cultivate environments that allow introverted children to flourish. She provides practical advice on how to support introverted children, such as giving them the space for solitary, immersive play, allowing them to learn at their own pace, and helping them develop their social skills without forcing them into uncomfortable situations. Cain underscores the significance of affirming and valuing children for who they are, rather than trying to mold them into the extrovert ideal. This chapter serves as a valuable guide for those raising or working with children, reinforcing the importance of temperament-inclusive education and parenting. Wonderland. In the concluding section of the book, Cain reiterates the central themes and messages of her work. She encapsulates her advocacy for introverts, emphasizing the need to appreciate and harness the strengths of introversion in a world that can't stop talking. Cain encourages introverts to embrace their quiet nature and reminds extroverts to value the introverts in their lives. She highlights the need for a balanced society that acknowledges the unique contributions of both introverts and extroverts. Drawing from various strands of the book, she formulates a call to action for readers to challenge the extrovert ideal, to celebrate introversion, and to strive for a world that respects diversity and temperament. She encourages readers to create environments, in schools, workplaces, and homes, that recognize and honor different needs, preferences, and strengths. Through her well-crafted narrative and meticulously researched arguments, Cain's Quiet: The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking ultimately illuminates the quiet power of introverts and their integral role in shaping our society. The summary of Quiet